Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Carl Fitzpatrick.
Southeast Radio.
Well, in recent weeks, Gorey received a boost on the jobs front with the announcement that CSC Global would be opening an office in the town and creating 75 jobs in the process. Paul Whelan, the Managing Director of Depository Services with CSC Global, joins me on the phone now. Paul, start by telling us about CSC Global and the services which it provides.
Sure. So CSC was founded in 1899 in Wilmington, Delaware in the US. It's the world's leading provider of business, legal, tax and digital brand services to companies around the globe. We've over 180,000 corporate customers. We service 90% of the Fortune 500 companies with offices around the globe, 50 offices and over 2,500 employees.
So, Paul, this is actually the second financial services company that you have influenced to locate in the model county. The first of these companies was Indus Financial back in 2013, located now in Enniscorthy. So how did that come about at the time?
Sure. So with Indus, I was approached back in 2013 to head up and establish the business in Ireland and grow that business. So I did that for a number of years. And grew it from scratch up to over 10 billion in assets under depository. That business is still alive and well in Enniscorthy. It's grown substantially and has now 22 employees. I suppose my role in attracting it to Enniscorthy was simple. I'm from Enniscorthy and I was leaving quite a stable job in a large US company to take on the role, and the only way I would do that was if we could establish it in Enniscorthy, which I was more than happy to do.
Talk to me about how CSC Global came to the decision to actually locate a second office in Ireland in Gorey.
Yeah, again, we're in a globally competitive market for locations, and CSC have considered a number of locations in the UK, in Luxembourg and in Ireland. One of our other MDs spent a lot of his summers in his youth in Wexford and had relations down here, so he had a fond affiliation with the county. And when I came on board and was approached about the role to act as head of depository services for CSC, one of the key, I suppose, attractions was the regional office, and the fact that it was really my decision where we placed that regional office was a major factor in me taking the job. And Gorey was an ideal location, one for, the deep pool of talent that's available in the southeast. The proximity of Gorey to Dublin is another major factor. We're just a little over an hour to the city centre and the airport, and that's very important for a business like ours, where we need to travel extensively out of the country. If we have clients coming in, it's an easy drive down to the office. And then the office itself is really second to none in the southeast. It's kind of an institutional grade office that we would expect a CSC to locate in. It's of that calibre, so that was a major factor as well.
And Paul, of course, there is lots of financial services companies, as you say, right across the southeast. So do you expect to be attracting many staff from companies like Elevon and Wicklow and State Street in Kilkenny and, of course, B&Y in Wexford?
I would think so. We won't be specifically targeting any of those companies, but it's inevitable when there's a new entrant into the market and located nearby. But, the talent pool is deep enough for all of us to attract talent from. So I expect that maybe we'll get people who are actually working in Dublin currently who've been commuting up and down the road to Dublin, and now they have a viable option in North Wexford that will provide them with the type of career that they would expect. And now they don't need to drive to Dublin anymore to get that career and have that development in their career, that it's not just a low-paid job with no prospects. These are well-paid roles with a lot of growth potential in them.
And what will the salary range be in respect of these roles?
Look, they're not going to be minimum wage jobs. It will depend on the level of the person coming in and the caliber of the person coming in. We're looking to attract people from, graduate level to very experienced fund professionals. we want to attract the best talent, and we will, we have the budget to attract the best talent.
It was announced that 75 jobs will be created by CSC in Gorey. Over what timeline will these jobs come on stream?
Yeah, we anticipate it to be a 4-year timeline to build up to those jobs. We have advertised in the local papers for candidates. So we want to build up a pool of candidates that we can choose from as the business grows. But we will be hiring a number of people immediately to get the business off the ground.
And in the short to medium term, do you expect that staff will be working remotely, or will they be based there in the Hatch Lab in Gorey?
Yeah, we're very supportive of flexible working arrangements. So it would come down to individuals and working, talking to people on an individual basis about their working arrangements. But we're certainly open to flexible working arrangements and working from home.
And what type of jobs will be available, and specifically, what type of skills are you looking for in prospective employees?
Sure. So initially, the jobs will be fund services, so both fund accounting and transfer agency and depository services. So we're looking, as I said earlier, for people at all skill levels and all experience levels, from graduate right up to senior people to grow the business. We would expect graduates to come from a business, accountancy or finance-related discipline, but we're willing to have a conversation, and open to having conversations with people who have degrees in other disciplines. For us, it's very much about the person and the growth potential we can see in the person themselves, and ensuring that their values align with the corporate values.
There's been lots of talk globally about jobs in financial services being replaced by artificial intelligence. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's inevitable at some stage that this will happen. I think, you're starting to see it where there's a level of AI and robotics coming in that overlays the manual work that needs to be done. I think in depository services, yes, you can automate a lot of activities and look at exceptional reporting and exception management, but you'll always need, I think, humans to interpret data that systems are generating and look at those. And you'll always need people, on the client relationship side and business development side. It's still, all business is personal, and I don't think AI can replace that.
And have you a specific plan in place to be able to assist your workforce over the next couple of years to move up the value chain so that artificial intelligence doesn't make them redundant?
Absolutely. Look, we have an A to Z model across our business lines. So people are assigned clients rather than being assigned functions, and jobs are not broken down into component parts. So our employees will complete every piece of the puzzle for a client. They will work on that client from start to finish, have the client contact, build that client relationship. So people are getting, the soft skills as well as the kind of core depository knowledge and experience that they need. They're developing their skill set all the time in terms of communication, client servicing skills, even business development, presentations, things like that. So I'm very, very keen on promoting my people internally, building them up and not holding them back in their career and the jobs that to do. We have over 50 offices across the globe. There's opportunities for people to navigate those offices, work across the world with CSC, and I tend to help my employees to do that and to develop their careers. It's huge, to be honest. Gorey is our, centre of excellence for operations that will support our business across Europe. So as the European locations grow, Gorey will grow hand in hand with that. And that's hugely important because we're not just supporting our Irish business here, we're supporting locations in the UK, in Luxembourg, and in the Netherlands. And the European management team sits in Dublin, sits in Ireland. It will sit in Gorey for depository services with myself. So, and that's hugely important in terms of driving our, footprint strategy across Europe going forward. I'd like to see Gorey develop beyond the business lines that we currently have in Ireland, capital markets, fund administration and depository services, and look at more of our support services in Gorey. So things like HR, compliance, risk, IT, potentially software development, things like that, which we have in other locations in the company. I want to try and attract those to Wexford.
And Paul, is there any potential opportunities coming out of Brexit for CSC in Gorey?
Yeah, there is. There's a huge amount of, I suppose, UK asset managers locating in Ireland and setting up management companies in Ireland, and that's a huge source of business for us. And we would be looking to connect with those asset managers, especially in the real asset space. So private equity asset managers, private debt, real estate, infrastructure, credit, those kind of investment strategies that we can service.
Well, if you've just tuned in, that was Paul Whelan from CSC Global. And on behalf of Business Matters, I wish the company every success in growing its business in Gorey.
Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Carl Fitzpatrick.
Southeast Radio.